All right, my name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, Homage Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B legends, singers, songwriters, and producers, and everybody who has changed the game in R&B, y'all. And I'm here with a R&B legend that has made and changed the game for so many people. Singer and songwriter, Mr. Mechalie Jamison. Thank you so much. Man,
Thanks
we
for
got a
having
legend.
me.
Look, we gotta look. You know, I had to honor you and bless you because you didn't wrote so many hits for some people that I've admired so much since I was what, 7?
Wow.
Crazy.
Incredible. Yeah, that's
Crazy.
dope.
Yes, guys, and we're here to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the third album of Miss Faith Evans Faithfully. Like, it's so crazy. I know recently it just passed. It was November 6th, which just passed, but we're still gonna celebrate for the whole month of November, which I'm super excited, and everybody has so much love. So I would just
Right.
want to wish a happy 20th anniversary. Can you believe it's been 20 years, Mr. McKelly?
Man, I mean, time passes by so fast. We was living in the moment, and living in the moment, you're not thinking about how time flies. But
Right.
just to hear 20 years ago is like, wow, it just seems like yesterday.
Well, I gotta congratulate on you because you done wrote so many hits on this album. I mean, like, this is one of my favorite, and I talked to you yesterday. It was one of my favorite Faith Evans albums of all time. You get what I'm saying? So for
Right.
me, you wrote I Love You. I mean, man, Your Lot Knows is all up and down that album, which I'm just honored to have you on the platform.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much.
No problem, y'all. Hey, guys, if y'all can't hear, just jump out the live and jump back in the live. Okay. All right. All right. So before we do get started, I want to ask you know who you are as a person, but I want to ask you because I do a mental check-in on my guests that come in. I want to ask you, how have you been dealing since we've been in the pandemic?
Well, I have a strong faith and belief in God, So
Yeah.
I kind of like, I took it as it was, you know what I mean? I just
Right.
basically, I actually, when it first happened, I was in Chicago. I came back. My wife got hit with COVID, then I got hit with COVID.
Oh,
So, you know what I mean? But, we persevered,
amen.
I just, stayed positive.
Right.
And when like I said, when you got a faith in God, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
whatever is gonna be is in His will, you know what I'm saying. So I didn't take it no kind of way.
Right, right. Yeah, because I
Hmm.
know it's changed a lot for a lot of people who've done, music in general. And because, with music, I always tell people music always fills the soul for me. And, in the pandemic when we had to be on lockdown, that's all I could listen to was music. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
and I'm just so sorry that you had to deal with that because, I had lost myself and, I lost a lot of people in my life last year. So
Yeah,
dealing
I'm
with that and
sorry to hear
COVID,
that.
dealing with COVID and that, that was a lot of, mental health and, in so much ways. But when you got that music, it's gonna get you through, and that's what it got me through.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it all. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's the beauty of it all. The music, music keeps everything. When you're writing from your heart and you writing songs, you know what I'm saying, for it don't have to be your situation, it can be anybody else's situation.
Right.
But you have an empty canvas to paint whatever picture you want to paint. And that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just creating, the most, beautiful emotions that, if my lyrics can say, oh, you speak on I love you, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm.
what's better than love? You know what I mean?
Come on,
What's
come
better
on,
than
I
love?
come on,
Right.
Mr. Jackson, I ain't found my love yet, but when you speak on the heart, it speaks to me and it touches me. So I mean, when you got them, your pen game be killing folks, I ain't gonna even jump and stun on you.
Right. That's what's up. That's what's
That's
up.
dope. That's dope. So
That's
now since we
what's up.
got to know and talk about, how you've been doing and stuff like that, I want to get to know who you are as a person because I know a lot of people may not know who you are, and stuff like that. And you got people calling you the GOAT. So with that being said, I want to ask about you.
Mm.
Where are you from? And how did you get your inspiration of R&B, and what was people that inspired you to do what you're doing?
Well, I was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? I was
Mm-hmm.
born, it's like, I was born in Boston, and then when I turned like between 9 and 10, my mother moved us to the South,
Okay.
which was in Mississippi. It was a culture shock, but down south. And we moved to the country. We moved to, we moved to the
Oh,
country. So,
I know
you
where
know,
exactly where at.
yeah. So, so my grandfather, my mother, my uncles, all of them are pastors and preachers, but it's just strictly from, Church of God in Christ, and growing up in that, my mother's son, my uncle's son, aunties, and what I'm saying, everything was just so deep rooted in gospel. So, I I I didn't know whether I was going to be a songwriter then, or I didn't, I didn't have that. I didn't know then because everything was meant for the church and the
Right.
church. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So as I grew older, I started being inspired by. Well, my first inspiration was Andre Crouch. You know what I'm saying? Because
What? Wow.
because we couldn't listen to anything else but
Yeah.
gospel. So
Mm-hmm.
he was the guy that what I'm saying, basically spearheaded everything from the whinings to commission to cool gospel people that we wanted to listen to.
Mm.
So what I'm saying, I started getting my inspiration from. It started from Andre Crouch on down to Winans Commission, and then what I'm saying, and then I started looking at other things. I was always inspired by music. I mean, on the streets, what I'm saying, you have Rick James playing, but we couldn't listen to Rick James in our house. You know what I'm saying? But I knew he was
Right.
talented, and I knew it was this guy named Stoney. He used to be sitting outside. We used to be at the bus stop. I was about maybe 11 or 12,
Mm-hmm.
and he used to have his boom box, man. He used to be playing at. He had his little sister sitting on the corner or whatever, like waiting for the bus, or whatever, and he'd be playing. Um, Rick James. I'd be like, man, who is that, man? Like, that's Rick James, man. I was like, man, that's dope. So, he made me a copy of the tape and I would sneak and listen to it. But, you know, that's when I started thinking about, saying secular music and everything like that outside of what I
Right.
grew up in. And
Right.
then, of course, um, I'm from Boston, so New Edition
Oh
came
yeah.
out shortly after that. So I was just like, I'm supposed to be in that group. So that's when I started thinking like, from a secular side, yeah.
Right, right. Oh wow. I mean, yeah, definitely for sure. And I had Steve stuff on my Steve Stonehuff on my platform not too long ago, and he said the same thing about how he was raised in the gospel and commission, and people like that were inspired him to do what he did. And I can
Mm,
understand for those roots, like having that foundation with gospel, it starts with that a lot, and then it kind of gears towards R&B. You get what I'm saying? And I love how said about New Edition, because a lot of people don't talk about New Edition being like the four founders,
man,
of the, hey, yeah, you already look.
man, you talking about for real, man. Them guys had me so inspired because I'm living in the South, but I moved from
Right.
Boston to Mississippi. So
Yeah.
when I found that there was some Roxbury, that's why I mean, I moved into Dorchester, Roxbury, all of that. We
Yeah.
moved around them parts. So when I
Mm-hmm.
seen that, I was like, oh man, I could do that, man. I could have been a New Edition. You know what I mean? They would have ran
Oh.
across me, and I met them years later. That was so
Oh
crazy about
wow.
it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So that was pretty much my inspiration of music. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Andre Crouch. It started from gospel,
Mm-hmm.
and then not really knowing my way. Um, not knowing what I was going to do in the future, but I knew somewhere in the back of my mind I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to basically be in the music industry. I didn't know how,
Mm.
I didn't know where I was how it was gonna happen, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
happened when my freshman year in college. That's when I seen that I can do it. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love how you said that when the culture shock kind of shift your change, but not even that, you always kept it to where you knew that you felt with rhythm and blues, even though you were raised in a gospel home. And definitely
Right.
for sure, I wanted to understand also, like, how did you when did you start to realize, you were about to get your big break? Was it around the 90s time when you did start to get in the industry?
I mean, it was kind of weird, man, because again, you know what I'm saying, coming up the way I came up, it was just like, it wasn't a lot of encouragement that way, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I would say my freshman year, when I finally got away, I went to Lane College and I finally got to go to a place to where I didn't have nobody telling me what
Come on.
I couldn't do, you know what I'm saying? And I don't take nothing away from my upbringing, because without my
Right.
upbringing, I wouldn't, that built a lot of character in me, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I knew, I was like, man, I knew it was something bigger than that. So my freshman year, um, I entered a talent show at Lane College, because I felt like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so, you got your guys coming from Detroit. Shout out to my guys in Detroit, you know what I'm saying? E-Course, BM. I mean, like, really, honestly, you know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
guys, like, it's a great series that 50 Cent is shooting, BMF.
Oh yeah. Dope.
Those guys from E-Course and Rudge and all of them, they was my roommates. Shout out to Ruben Major, Bill Binion, all of them guys. They was the stars on the campus because they was actually living that life.
Mm.
But I was like, man, these guys are cool. They from Detroit. They got the silk shirts on with the Cartier glasses, with the Gucci shoes. Me coming from Mississippi, I just had on a little. I was looking like Carlton from the Fresh Prince. I was a choir boy. So I just really wanted to make my
Don't feel
presence.
bad. Me too.
I just wanted to make my presence felt, and it was a
Right.
talent show. So I entered a talent show. You know what I
Mm.
mean? At my freshman year at Lane College, and I actually won a talent show singing "If Only for One Night" by Luther.
What?
And
Come on. You know we
and
love Luther.
and that's when I got the reaction from that. That's when I really felt like, oh man, I can really. Okay, I know I wouldn't. I know I'm not tripping. I'm gonna really make this. I'm gonna really pursue this. So, you
Mm.
know, that's what
Wow.
that's what start. That's what sparked it.
Mm. So by you sparking, did you leave college and go straight into the industry, or how did
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
foreground? What?
yeah. I did. I was on the basketball team in college. I was playing for Lane College, but I
Mm-hmm.
was just so distracted with music, man. I just always just like, man. I was like, I know I could really, really do this, man. And I felt like when any opportunity musically with this the '90s, you know what I'm saying? It's '89,
Okay.
'90. So it ain't like I mean, you don't know where it's coming from or how to
Yep.
go, but any opportunity that I could get to make it happen, I would.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in a little trouble at school, and I went home, and I went out to Oklahoma. My mother sent me out to Oklahoma. It was like, well, I think 91, 92. And I got another full scholarship to play basketball for Denny Price, which is Mark Price's father that played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But
Okay.
he offered me a full ride. But then I had a girlfriend that lived in Chicago on the South Side. And R. Kelly was hot at the time. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, that's who we kind of look on the like back in the day. I was like, I said, dog, this dude, man, this dude is dope. You know what I mean? And I went to Chicago and I never left. I had a full ride. I left that school and went to school out in Oklahoma, but I never went back
Mm-hmm.
because I was so in love with music. And I was like, I'm gonna make it out of Chicago.
That's
So
right.
Chicago was like my stomping ground and like my Hollywood. That was the closest thing that I could get. And R. Kelly was hot at the time, so that I said I'm gonna go to Chicago and I'm gonna make this. This is where I'm gonna make it from, and that's
Right.
what
Right.
happened.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I heard that. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people when you go to Chicago, you can make it anywhere because, like, I heard it's the foreground of
man.
a lot of music where a lot of people have gotten discovered. You know what I'm saying? Like people like Avant, he broke through in the industry, breaking records through in Chicago. So a lot of people don't talk about Chicago being the forefront of a lot of breakthrough artists that come through.
Where it was different, like Chicago wasn't like it wasn't it
No,
wasn't it
like
wasn't
now.
like it was now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like back
Mm-hmm.
then, you know what I'm saying. You had the drug dealers
Oh yeah.
You had everybody, you know, you had the gangs. Those was the celebrities. Those
Yeah.
was the celebrities of the city. They didn't care if it was, you know what I'm saying, like the celebrities that would come from out of town, they would be hanging with the popular guys on the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and that's how, you know, I came up the street way.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with no, it wasn't no quick discovery, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
You
worked hard.
know, yeah, I worked hard. I went to every hole in the wall, to every, it used to be the Cotton Club. I mean, it was, Chateau on Madison, and they had this thing called a gong show. I would get gonged, but I come right back.
Okay, look.
I'll come right back. And then I go to the Cotton Club when Bernie Mac was hosting the Cotton Club and all of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of telling my age, but yeah, man, I went through it all.
That's right. That's right. And I
And
love your
and
story.
yeah, for sure.
No, go
Yeah.
ahead. No, go ahead. You were saying what about after the Bernie Mac and the Gong Show?
Well, I'm just saying, like, being in Chicago, it was like me living on the west side and knowing everybody on the south side. It was just like I was, and being from the south, I just didn't care. I just was going everywhere. I'll be writing down the street, walking down the streets, writing songs, and just
Mm.
having just music in my head. You know what I'm saying? Going to every dope spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, every kingpin that was in there, man, I would get them to support me. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
So you
they
went
and
to
then
the real.
yeah, I was in the belly of the beast, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
and and
wow.
and and I would get on I would be on the block and everybody would be reciting my songs, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
dope.
Cuz everybody knew that that's what I was about, you know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
was about the music. But I didn't care where I had to go to get to the music
Hmm.
as long as I can be around the music, you know what I
Come
mean?
on.
So, you know, just walking through that journey
Yeah.
and those streets, say it gave you kind of an edge, like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know what I'm saying? So I have my Walkman on, I'll be listening to R. Kelly, then I'll be listening to Tupac, then I'll be listening to, but then I'm everything was a movie to me because I'm from the South, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But I'm looking
Hmm.
at, you know what I'm saying, Vice Lords, GDs, BDs, whatever, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't care, you know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
would know that, oh, that's that singing kid. Oh, that's that guy that,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So, from block to block, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was, you know what I mean? And then, this guy by the new name of June Tate, he had a company called Fat House.
Hmm.
I met this guy named Lamar Pinkling
Hmm.
at the, well, okay, let me go back.
Hmm.
After a year or two living in Chicago, I
Hmm.
heard about this thing called a Jack the Rapper.
Okay.
Okay. So the Jack the Rapper was like, that was it was one in Atlanta. And I flew home. My mother gave me some money to go. It wasn't much money. And I hopped in the car with my guy and I went to the Jack the Rapper because this is where, you know what I'm saying, like this was the golden ages of hip hop and R&B.
Mm.
So, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? You were seeing people from Tupac to Snoop to SWV to I mean,
Everybody.
everybody, you know what I mean? And I
Everybody
met this
was there.
and I met this guy by the name of Kevin Wells. Shout out to Kevin. He basically was managing ABC and 112 was, and he was running with Puff and them. But I didn't have no laminate on, so he got
Always
me
happened
into
like,
the he got me into the seminar. But like mind you, I just went down there with my guys from Mississippi. One of my boys went to Morehouse, Kenyatta Stewart. He dropped me off at the Marriott, and I just got out. I ain't care. I was like, all right, I'll holler at you later. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so focused
you were
on
focused,
making
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I ran into this guy named Kevin Wells, and he got me into the Jack. He didn't know me. I didn't know him. And he was just like, he just seemed so cool. And he was walking. He had ABC with him, and he was a young cat himself. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm trying to get in, man. Let me sing for you, dog. Like, I'm trying to get in the Jack the Rapper. He's like, he sized me up and took me on in there, man. And that's when I met like everybody. Sherry
Wow.
Carter. I had a red pad and I was just singing for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
just, and I said, next year, I'm going to be in the Jack the Rapper. And I was. I was in the Jack the Rapper the next year because I met this guy by the name, I met Lamar Pinklin there. He was from Chicago. So I was getting a lot of people from Chicago. I was getting their numbers and stuff like that. So that was another networking thing when I got back home.
Right,
That's
right.
how I started making, that's when I got back to Chicago, that's when I started moving around a little bit more better when I went to that networking experience, you
Mm-mm.
know.
Yeah, what I'm learning about too, what I learned about what your inspiration was, you took a lot of stuff that you learned from in the 90s, especially with the hip hop and R&B. That was such a huge era with the New Jack Swing that you took that into your music, but made it your own. You know what I'm saying, Mr.
Hmm.
Jamison?
Hmm.
And I just feel like, you were very unstoppable on what you wanted for yourself. And what
Yeah.
I learned about now about where you were persistent about everywhere you were going to make sure you was going to make yourself known. And
Yeah.
going to all these mecca cities like Chicago and Atlanta, these are where now, like, where music, especially R&B, is like dominating in these areas. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But you
Hmm.
already kind of foresaw for yourself. I think you already had I don't know if you had a feeling, but I felt like you had a feeling like, everywhere I'm going to go is going to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, in the 90s, like, so how did you get on the soundtrack to Master P? Like, did you get signed to Priority Records? How did all
Man,
that
no,
intertwine?
man, see, it's still crazy because, I mean, like I said, when I went back to Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
when I went back to Chicago,
Right.
you know, that's when I started hooking up with local record labels in
Yeah.
Chicago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, you know, this guy by the name of Jay Boogie,
Mm-hmm.
he had a company called Mob Town,
Mm.
but he was making leathers. I mean, this guy, man, this guy really kind of like put things in perspective. Like he was our Puffy, like
Mm.
because he was making leather jackets. Jay Boogie
Come
Leather.
on.
If you see Biggie on the front of one of those magazines, is he got it's not a Versace coat, but it looked like one. But that was Jay Boogie making those leathers, and he had a company called Mob Town.
Mm-hmm.
And under that brand, man, he didn't know what it was. I seen it. I seen a vision in him more than he
Right.
seen a vision in himself, as
Oh,
far as
wow.
who he was, because he was a designer. Like if you like God rest in peace, rest in peace, Virgil Abloh. If you know
Mm.
about Off
R.I.P.
White, Virgil, and
Yeah.
John
Ugh.
Monopoly and Don C. and all of them. He was the inspiration of them on the fashion side.
Mm.
But he had a record label called Mobtown, and me and all of us, what I'm saying, would get together, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, he knew this guy by the name of Lo 7 Self
Mm-hmm.
out in LA, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I got introduced. That's how people started hearing my music.
Oh,
People
okay.
started hearing
That
my
makes
music
sense.
through him because I was writing R&B. You know what I'm saying? I was like around like a whole bunch of street stuff, but I would
Mm.
be writing big ballads. So this dude couldn't believe I was writing them big ballads like that. I was like, man, like this you? It's like, yeah, it's me.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
And man, he called me one day and told me to come out to LA. And that's where it all started. I came out to LA and
Mm-hmm.
man, it had been so tough in the streets, man, you know what I'm saying, back then. Man, I was living in the roughest neighborhood ever in
Wow.
Inglewood. When you talk about old block, you talk about all of these different places. You hear Chief keeping them. They was babies. They wouldn't even thought about then. They was
Wow.
kids. But I come from that, I come from that cloth right there.
Yeah.
Man, I used to live right across the street, you know what I'm saying, from all I could hear is trains passing by. Writing
Mm.
songs and hearing trains passing by. But
Mm.
when this guy put me in and told me to come out to LA, I didn't know if this guy was a fake or a phony. but he said he liked my music, right?
Right,
So, but
right.
when I got to LA, I was like, man, you know what? Even if this guy don't come pick me from the airport, I got all my music with me, and my chances is better out here.
Come
You
on.
feel me?
Yeah.
You know, but he came through and he started taking me to these companies, and
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, people start hearing my music, and man, that's man,
Hmm.
that's when it happened. That's how
Wow.
this guy by the name of Tony De Niro, you know, he heard my music and he was like, man, you know, he introduced me to Andrew Shagnum over at Priority Records.
Hmm.
And then Master P heard my songs and he took it and put it on the soundtrack. I got the hookup and it went double platinum.
Did it? Because it went number one, two, and number three on the Billboard.
Yeah, yeah,
So you did
exactly.
that. That was
Yeah, I
dope.
had and I
Yeah.
had the single out of the whole record company. I had you know, I had the highest charting single off
Mm.
the I Got the Hookup soundtrack.
Keep it
That's
real.
how keep it real. That's exactly how that happened.
Man, that's dope. And I noticed
Mm,
too around this time when you were, working with, that song, you did another single as well. But then I didn't realize too, you were on Gladys Knight's album in '98. So you were part of that as well?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, come on,
Um,
Gladys.
um, well, you know what? You know what was crazy about that was,
How did you get with that? Look.
um, again, it's some guys out of the DC area named Kevin Jackson.
Yeah.
I think it was Kevin Jackson, and then Jerry Vines and my boy,
Hmm.
I can't think, Cliff. Cliff, you know what I'm saying? They had a
Hmm.
company called Big Dog Records back in the day. I
Hmm.
guess they was working with Gladys Knight,
Hmm.
and Gladys Knight heard a song that I had recorded with them in DC.
Hmm.
And then she was like, man, where did this song come from? And I was like, my boy out of Chicago wrote this song. It's called
Mm.
Everybody Needs Somebody.
Mm.
And that's how that happened.
Mm. And it
Hmm.
was a Many Different Roads album, right? Right. Wasn't around
Yeah,
that time. Wow,
yeah.
that's huge.
I was just like, dang, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I, you know, when you think about Gladys, man, you think about
Empress of
you think about
Soul.
the, man, you remember the song that Curtis Mayfield wrote
Which
for her?
one?
Um,
Oh Lord.
it was a movie that was out a long time ago that
Oh,
J-Lo,
I know what you're talking about.
you know what
Always
I'm
on the
talking
tip.
about?
Yes, I know this on that tip. We talked
And
about it
how
last
she
time.
sung that
Remember?
song, man, I was like,
Oh,
wow, man, she just was
I know what
always
song it
my
is, and I can't
favorite.
think of the soundtrack right now, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my God, JR, don't Claudine, JR, thank you. Look,
Yeah, Claudine, that's right, that's right,
look,
that's
my
right,
friend to save me. Thank you, JR. We was just talking about that last year. Wow.
that's right, that's
That
right,
is
you
so
know.
dope.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that's
That's
amazing. For you to be placed on her, on her song, up and coming. But I feel like your grind paid off. You know what I'm saying? And for you
yeah,
to do what you did, you really were starting to make a gateway through there. I mean, getting was this around the time you got your publishing deal and stuff, and then you
man.
got
That
with
was
them?
no, that was man. That man, that's I didn't have nothing going. That was way before I did a publishing deal. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even have a
Wow.
publishing deal then. You know what
So
I'm
you were just
saying?
literally like, just give me your
I was just
phone.
literally just, you know what I'm saying, like I had to, I mean, this was the early '90s, so I didn't really know then about,
Yeah.
publishing deals or anything until I moved to LA.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was
Mm-hmm.
so in love with, and I would touch on that because the business would make you lose the passion of
Preach it.
of what you really was born to
Yeah.
do.
Come
So when
on.
I kind of lost, when I started making money, that's when I started losing. I was like, man, I didn't understand a lot of things
Yeah.
about the music because I was just so lost into
Yeah.
how the music made me feel. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
people don't know when I was a young kid, man, I used to hear, this record by Debbie Boone. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and
Yeah.
this song was called "You Light Up My Life." You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
I didn't really understand why I was crying behind that. You know what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
what it made, what emotions was. But I knew, that it was something that music made me feel. Or I see
Right.
colors, I see shades of this. So people don't really understand when sometimes these kids be real passionate about something. You can take the passion out of it,
Yeah.
with the business side because they be so engulfed into
Yeah.
what the what your gifts are, and then really
Right.
don't understand the business side of it. And then you go through so many different people that's taken from you. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Not saying that always happened to me, but everybody go through something.
Yeah.
But I really realized that, what I'm saying, like, I thank God that, the passion is still there, you know what I'm
Come
saying?
on. It never
Versus
leaves you.
versus what I've been through. So yeah. Hmm.
Amen. And it never leaves you. And I've always told all my artists and songwriters who come on my, my page, no matter what has happened, even though you quote unquote or people in their eyes and music business think you're not relevant, you are always going to be relevant because your music stays relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And the stuff you've done for people, you've done so much stuff. We'll get into that in the interview. But like around this time, you did, your record. Then all of a sudden you did Gladys, and then you got on Tony Braxton's album, on the Heat album. So I'm like, wait a minute, this man has been everything. And I didn't realize too, she had did a video for that song. It was her fourth single, and I wish they would have put it out there. But like, so you got in the realms of that. How did you get with Tony and then with Fake? Like, how did all that kind of
It's,
transition?
okay, so now you got to remember too,
Mm-hmm.
even right after Gladys, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
which is before my,
Mm-hmm.
time, I had the Temptations that I wrote for.
Oh yeah, but that was an old, yeah, okay, yeah, in oh one.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But again, yeah, it was a little later. See, you doing your homework. I know you got.
I was trying to do
Okay,
a timeline. Look.
okay. I'm gonna let you handle that. But
No,
anyway,
you can
uh,
have,
uh,
look.
uh,
You can let them know about temptation. I was gonna throw that in there, and that little dagger, but I ain't gonna hurt nobody
no,
from
but
feelings
what
on
did you what did you ask me before then though?
No, it was just about with Tony Braxton. How did you get on the Heat album, and then did that transition you to get it with Bad Boy and stuff like with Faith?
Yeah. See, okay. So here we go back.
Okay.
We gonna go back to. Remember I was talking about Andre Crouch, right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Now that's who I grew up on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So years later, I heard this dude with Sean Patterson. I'm like, man, who did this music? And it was Keith Crouch. And then Brandy came
Something.
by and it was Keith Crouch. And I'm like, he got to be related to Andre Crouch. So I was just always just like, I got to meet this dude. I got to
Wow.
meet this dude, man. I have to meet this dude. So um, it's something that God always give me some kind of like, sign that I will meet
Sign.
somebody. And man, when I had did my deal with Priority Records, we went to the Urban Network,
Mm-hmm.
and Keith Crouch was on the panel. And I was like, out of all the people that I ever wanted to meet, it was him.
Oh.
And man, when he was speaking, I was just paying attention to him. And then, when the panel was over, he walked away or whatever like that. And I ran up on him. I was like, man, look, man, I grew up on your uncle's music, man. I said, I knew you was related to him some kind of way. I said, dog, I'm a fan, this, that, and the other, man. We didn't switch numbers and that like that, but
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, man, I was in the studio and I was recording my album, and I had the song blasted in the studio, and his manager walked in, not knowing I'd already met this man 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And man, when I told him I was he asked me, man, where you come from, man? I need to introduce you to my producer, man. You know what I'm saying? You dope, man. His name was Michael Williams. You know what I'm saying? And he took me to Keith Crouch's house, and Keith was like, I met this dude, man, da da da, and we became friends. And then that's how
Oh.
I end up getting on the Tony Braxton record. That's when I started. He was like my musical mentor. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and Key Crowd has done so much. I mean, he was on Tony
Oh
Braxton's sophomore
man,
album. Man, don't even
I
get me started with him.
mean,
He's like he's the reason
I
why I
mean,
know who Brandy Him, Kipper, and all them. They're the reason why I know who Brandy, Rihanna Norwood is to this day. Like at 5, it was because of that album. Like it
I
changed my life.
mean,
So
he's a
yeah,
staple. He's a
very a
staple of
staple.
R&B music. He's a staple. You know what I'm
Yes, he
saying?
is.
And he's
Yes.
my brother, man. And we talk.
Oh,
He just, did some wonderful things for my daughter because my daughter, she's up and coming and she's writing and doing the
oh,
same thing that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So he just, man,
congratulations.
I introduced him to her, and man, he just bought her equipment and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And just
Sweet.
like to stay. That's my brother, man. That's my brother.
So, and that was success. He was a huge success for Tony Braxton at that time. So, and then they got nominated for a Grammy. Like, after that, how did you get with Faith Evans on the Faithfully album? Like, how did that kind of transition to that?
Man, that's crazy, man. So, honestly, things didn't work out at Priority Records like I wanted to. Cause I could have.
Right.
It was between this guy by the name of Steve Prudhomme. He wanted to sign me to Sony. It was between Sony and it was between Priority. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't. I was just a loyalty type of guy, man. I was like, man, I'm a go. Since Tony De Niro came at me first, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay loyal to him. But you know what I'm saying? That's how the connection came through with Bad Boy.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? A guy by the name of D-Mac, knew Puff and them, and it's street connections, you know what I'm saying? And
yep.
you feel me? Me and my man John Monopoly at the time, we was rolling real tough too. John Monopoly, he's one of the guys that was managing me at the time as well.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, my ties through Tony De Niro and D-Mac, they knew Puff knew them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that connection.
And they was like, man, who is this guy writing all these songs, man? It's like Mechalie Jamison, you need to get up on him. And I was in the studio and Puff called. I don't know how Puff got a hold of me.
Oh, trust, he got connects.
Yeah, because man, me and my man, I was in the studio and the engineer was the only guy there at the studio when he called me. And he had this little, I don't know if he had a little Fiesta or he had a little bitty car. It was like one of them, it was a Chevette, it was something. But Puff was like, can I meet him at the Four Seasons? I ain't had no car or anything. And I hopped in the car with him. We pulled up at the Four Seasons in that Chevette. It was Bentleys and everything. But it's true story.
I believe you. Look, trust.
But yeah, we went and met with Puff, man, and he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, I wanna do some, I played him some records and shit, he's like, man, it's dope. He's like, man, you gonna do some business with me at the time. And then I was still banking on my artist career to work out. But that didn't work out, and then me and Puff kind of lost contact. And then some years later, when that didn't work out, me, John Monopoly, Don C, Happy, the whole Hustle crew, we went to New York because John was managing Carl Thomas at the time.
Makes sense.
I was telling, Monop, like, yo, man, Puff know me from years ago. And Puff was speaking at this at Carl's release album party or whatever. When he was talking, he looked at me. I seen him look at me. I was like, I told you I know him. And he called me over there and it's like, yo, man, let's make this deal happen. Why we ain't made nothing happen yet? I was like, man, look, man, I need you, man. Just let's just make it happen now.
Right.
And from there, that's how I got on Faith and Mary and all of those types of songs and stuff like that. I did a publishing deal with Puff like that. Had to be like in '99, you know what I'm saying, something like that. But I can remember right now, writing those records. And mind you, I had met Faith at a Clive party, but she didn't know me really. You know what I'm saying? She
right.
Like, I met you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. Oh, we just looked at each other like familiar face. But I was already, you got to understand, I was taking this back to when I was on the streets of Chicago.
Right,
I was already writing for Faith and Mary in my head, in my mind. I knew I was going to meet them.
Come
like,
on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
you
already had that in my head. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
When the opportunity presented itself, you know what I'm saying? That's how it all began. You know what I'm saying? And me, John Monopoly, Now, John Monopoly, that's a character. That's my. You know, he basically is a pioneer in Chicago too. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He's like my little brother, but he's my little big brother. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's you know he was a huge party promoter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was promoting parties, and you know, him and Kanye West and all them, they come up together. They still, that's who, you know, was doing a lot of stuff with Kanye or
Right.
whatever. Like he was my little brother and Kanye was his little brother. You know what I'm saying? It was just like
Oh,
we was always
y'all was
working
when they
together.
grew up in the business together.
Yeah, we come up in the business together. So
Mm-hmm.
um, when I got my deal with my publishing deal, me and John moved to Secaucus, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And man, you know, our first day going over there at Bad Boy at Daddy's house, man, I seen this CD and it had Buck Wild on it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know who Buckwild is. Yep.
So I ain't know, you know, nobody said, hey, write to this particular track. Here, write to this. You know what I'm saying? No, it was a CD and it had Buck Wild on it in green writing. And I took the CD back to see Caucus, and the first thing that came off the CD was I Love You, the Isaac Hayes sample.
The Isaac Hayes sample. Mm-mm-mm. You know that's
So
right.
I wrote to that like in 10 minutes flat, man. That song was created right there and
You did that in 10 minutes.
at that apartment. Yeah, it just flew. I had to dictaphone and everything. Then we went to Daddy's house. Me and John, John Monopoly and Don C. We went to Daddy's house, and Puff had J Lo sitting on the couch.
God.
You know what I mean? And Puff was like, all right, man, what you got for me, man? I know you know what I'm saying, y'all guys here. And I sung I Love You to him.
Oh.
But he was like, oh, J Lo was sitting right there. So he put me right in front of J Lo
Mm.
and I sung it to J Lo. So that was supposed to be J Lo's song.
True story. Yep, I heard.
You feel me? So when I sung it to J Lo, she was like, I mean, it was crazy. I was singing I Love You to J Lo. You know what I'm saying? That was
Ooh.
crazy. So we
I'm
eye to
surprised
eye, and I'm
Puff
saying
ain't
I
say.
love. So
I'm
I'm just
surprised
like,
Puff ain't say that. Sean ain't
it
say
felt
that.
it was crazy now, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy, but just
Oh
imagine you
wow.
just singing that to her, saying, I love. I'm like, okay.
So how was their
So
reaction about the song? Like what was the reaction? Because I
man,
know
they
it
was
was
going
very
crazy.
interesting.
They was going crazy over it.
Mm,
So, you know what I'm saying, J Lo, how she became a co-write on the song, she, you know,
mm-hmm.
basically the song was already done when I got to her. But then
Mm.
it was certain words that she switched around or whatever. Like
Okay.
I would much rather say it like this or say it like that or whatever
Yeah.
like that. You know what I'm saying?
From a
And then you
people
know,
from a female's perspective, I get it.
from a female perspective, and then
Yeah.
because I got the melody from Surface. People don't even know that.
What? Wait, 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 wait,
When
wait. Surface? The group Surface?
the group Surface, like
I didn't know that. Oh
it's a catchy kind of vibe that he. Well, I don't wanna lose, and I took that, you know, just like if you really listen to the song Alicia Keys wrote,
wow.
it was really I Love You. That I'm
Oh.
ready. If you ask
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm
Same thing.
thinkable. Makes sense.
You feel what I'm saying? So it was just a
Yes.
strong melody that was just, people bite off each other all day, you know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
what is the lyrical content that you put it on. And that's just how that song came about, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But after Puff and them went to court and all of that stuff with,
Yeah.
I mean, the gun shooting and all of that,
Yeah.
and that's how I met. That's that's how Faith Todd Russo was Faith's husband at the time, which is a
Mm-hmm.
dear, dear, dear friend of mine, a good friend of mine.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Like my brother. Um, Me and him and Faith, we hooked up. We went to LA. I don't know what happened on how they got that record or whatever like that, but I think he had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think he
Mm-hmm.
heard it and had something to do with it. But then when Puff was going to court,
Mm-hmm.
Faith and Todd flew me out to
Mm-hmm.
LA, and that's how I did the You Gets No Love. That's how I did all.
So
That's how I got so deep on that record like that
you
with Battle
did.
Cat and all of them other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
me and Faith was just. I mean, and me and Faith, we got we got a chemistry, you know what I'm saying? So Faith will have like You Gets No Love, she already had the hook and the verse, I mean the hook and the
That's just our anthem.
in
That's a
the
woman
pre
anthem.
yeah, the pre-chorus or something like that. But
Yeah.
then I came in with the verses, tell me why you get no love.
Mhm.
You
Come
know what I'm
on.
saying? So we just start, so
Mechalie, you
we
better
just
hit
kind of
that
saying
note. You better hit that note.
but we just start having, we just had that combination,
That's
you know what I'm
dope.
saying, when we was just writing machines, like, like some of the songs, like, even the interlude on the album, I can write a whole
Beautiful.
interlude and Faith would come in, like I demoed out that interlude, and Faith would
Hmm.
come and turn that interlude into something that be like, that's me. I really wrote that. You know what I'm saying? Brand New Man. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff on that album. We just, I mean, she allowed me to be myself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
She
Hmm.
allowed me, and he allowed me. You know what I'm saying, to be
Hmm.
myself. And Faith,
Right.
if you ever meet Faith, man, she's just a sweetheart, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just like my little sister, man. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
she never made me feel uncomfortable.
That's
Never
dope.
made me feel like, you know what I'm saying, that I should be, saying, how some people should make you feel like, I should be happy to be in the room with
Yeah,
you.
beneath them. Hmm.
Yeah, she never
That
made me feel
entitlement
like
attitude. Mm-mm-mm.
yeah, she didn't, she always made me feel, what I'm saying, super comfortable. And I love her to this day for that, because
Oh.
if she didn't have that kind of personality, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying,
Hmm.
those things wouldn't have been, because artists, they got their right to, that's their personal space, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Definitely.
you got to understand, when you're a writer, you got to know your spots with people, you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
You can't, even if you dope, you know what I'm saying, you can't just come in nobody's session and just think you so dope that they ain't got no ideas,
Right.
or they don't, because Faith is an incredible writer. I mean, she wrote the,
Pen game.
pen game stupid,
Come
arrangement
straight.
game crazy.
Come on.
You
Yes.
feel
Speak
me? You know
it.
what I'm saying? So it's just like,
Because you too. You too. Look.
yin yang. That's just what
Yeah.
it was. You know what I mean?
And
These
it's
people,
true.
these people be super talented, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
Super. Exactly.
you have to be able to get in and be humble enough
That's right.
to let them allow you in their space to say, okay, if you, and I was able to do that. You know what I mean? And I had wrote a song for Faith on paper, man, before I even knew her.
Mm.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
you
man,
did.
I was like, when I finally got to meet her, I was like, I got this song for you. And I sung it for her, man. And it felt so good to sing it for her, because I held it for about 5 or 6 years before I even met her.
That's dope. Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. That's dope. And I love how the way you talked about the process, because what I learned from this album too, faithfully, I definitely learned a side of Faith Evans that I didn't know learning about this album. And
Mm-hmm.
what I learned, and I did my research on her, it was like a love letter to the homage to R&B music that I really learned what
Mm-hmm.
she did. I really understood where she was coming from, especially she was talking about how she was studying the greats, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and all these people. I kind of
Man.
understand what you took from that back then, from the eras of the people that kind of created, an R&B jazz soul type of vibe. But what I
Mm-hmm.
learned from this, I feel like it was a love letter to what y'all did from back then to at that time 2001. But not even that, it was homage to an R&B sound, what y'all doing with a lot of the samples, like you did Faithfully with the M2 Made Juicy, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
all these in the mixture of what I learned from this was like a beautiful love letter of R&B music, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So when I
Most
sit back and
definitely.
look, I love Love and Understand. I like Faithfully. That was like, I think, one of my favorite albums. Faith, because it's a dance group vibe. But I
Mm-hmm.
Love You. That's my forever. That's my
Oh
number one.
man.
That's my number
Yeah.
one. Number one
That's what
Faith
you
Evans
tell me.
ballad ever. I don't care. Like that one and Caramel Kisses are my favorites from her as as an artist. But like
Right.
I said, from you guys, what I learned about this album was it was a beautiful type of ballad album that I really like. That a lot of people that we don't. I've always said this, like ballads, we need ballads in R&B. I've always said it for a long time. And I feel like we don't have it anymore. What I've learned about this 2001 album is that you made a groove for Faye, to make sure that she's always, keeping the, balladeer person that she always been. Because, her first song, As Soon As I Get Home, like I said, all these songs
Man.
like that, y'all kept the
We
formula.
gotta we gotta say shout out and God rest the dead, Chucky Thompson, man. The
Oh,
man was
Chuck! Oh Lord,
incredible.
don't even talk, man.
I got a story. I got man. He flew me to it. Man,
Oh,
he flew me to his house, man. And I
yeah.
sat there with him, man. And man,
Mm.
we kicked it, man. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was like him. People like him, Keith Crouch, man.
Yeah.
Them was my idols, man. But he
Oh,
flew me to his home, man, in DC,
yeah.
man, and we kicked it. And he seen the potential in me, man. But he would just pull out these, man. I mean, I could, I could actually sit there and come up with anything I want to off the top of my head, and
Mm,
he'll get
mm,
the,
mm.
he used to breathe kind of hard,
Yeah.
but he'll get the nod in his head, and he'll pick up, what I'm saying, pluck the
Yeah.
guitar, then and hit the keys, and
Yeah.
man, that was my man. So again, what I'm saying, when
Yeah.
I heard, as soon as I get home, I was still on the streets of Chicago. Man,
Mm.
I was writing songs based off that. That was the blueprint to me
Come
even
on.
being prepared. Like the only reason I was prepared to write for Mary J. Blige is because I wrote for her before I met her.
Mm.
That's
You
the
better
only
preach.
reason. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why when Puff called me, to come in that studio and write for Mary, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
when they finally reunited back, I mean, I didn't have no answers for that. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Mm,
was kind of
yeah.
nervous. You know what I'm saying? He put me in there
Mm.
like, hey yo, like look, man, don't let me down, man. I need you to make this happen.
Yeah.
La 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 la. You know what I'm saying? Puff is the perfect pitch man, but Mary
Mm.
had the poker face on when I walked in the studio.
Oh Lord.
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
saying, okay, you telling me this dude could do this and do that, and
Yeah.
she was just like looking at me like, and Puff's like, he's a nice guy. He's not gonna give you no problem. He's one of the best writers I got over here. You're gonna love him, this, that, and the other. He pulled up that Nas One Love beat, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I could just see her bobbing her head, but she looking at me like, all right, nigga, what you gonna do?
That's Mary.
You feel me? But I'm still like, but
Oh,
then I had to reach
yeah.
down to my soul and say, okay, dude, this the moment that you was waiting for. This
That's
what you
right.
was doing.
You
So
was determined.
now do what you was doing, and I can go back in my head and start remembering songs that I wrote for her previous, and then before I could even meet her, and then I get in the booth, and then I just start feeding her lines, and she'll just
Mm-hmm.
be eating them lines up. And then once that ice was broken, me and her, she was a sweetheart too. But
Oh.
Mary is more like, man, working with her. Mary is more like, it's almost like, man, we so much alike.
Mm.
Like in as far as like delivery and everything,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been through a lot of pain. She been through a lot of pain,
Yep.
but
That my life.
it's
Mm-hmm.
imperfect though. But so
Yep.
when I was hitting her, it was just like me. It was like a mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because anything that I would give her, it didn't have to be perfect. The keys didn't have to be, she didn't have
Mm-hmm.
to be in tune with everything. Everything didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be perfect.
Right. That's right.
And I was loving that. And we kept on working and working and working. Puff left us with 2 beats. He went to Morocco, came back. You know what I'm saying? We got a whole album almost wrote. He was mad, but it was like,
What mad about what? Child?
he was
No.
mad. He didn't like. He was like, he didn't like how, because it was like one of them horses. Like once I
Yep.
got her going, she didn't want to stop. She wanted to keep running. So
Yeah.
I pulled
You can't
beats out
stop the
my bag.
creativity.
Yeah, we just kept on. We just kept it creative, and he got back,
Mm-hmm.
but they still made the album. So it's cool.
Right. Like I said, I'm just super proud, and that's why I said, back to faithfully. Like I just love how the way you talked about, your journey in the industry, and being this album was a huge album for her. It went gold, and not even that. I don't know if you noticed, a lot of people have sampled this album too. They sampled "I Love You" like 5 times. You had people like Wale, Raekwon, like a lot of people have really been influenced by this
That's my
album. You know what I'm
man,
saying?
Ray, my
Wale,
man, Raekwon,
look,
Raekwon,
yeah.
my man.
He did
Yeah,
that. I mean, and for this album to be sampled 14 times, it goes to show you that, this album did solidify in hip hop and R&B. You get what I'm saying? And,
right.
not even just that alone right there. I mean, it peaked at number 2 on the R&B charts. I mean, peaked number 14 on the 200 charts. I mean, you really showed for Faith Evans that she had a really good, like I said, this really was like a love letter to, love about R&B music. And that's how I felt to me. So,
Man, Faith is like, to be honest with you, Faith
mm-hmm,
is a real true like when we talk about Ella Fitzgerald, you talk about all of these great
Yes.
singers, Whitney Houston and all that. Faith
Come
is
on.
like, what I'm saying, man, I mean, she has an everlasting voice that's never gonna leave the earth. Like it's never
Yeah.
gonna her things that she left here, what I'm saying? People,
Yeah.
everybody go through this, everybody go through that, I go through things, but one
We
thing
all
about
do.
her delivery and her spirit and the person that she is, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like my first wife, she passed away, you
Oh,
know what
I'm
I'm
so sorry
saying?
about that.
And
Yeah.
her and Faith were like this, you know what I'm saying? They were really
Oh.
tight, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And like her spirit is as genuine as her music. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Mm.
really find people that have that kind of like, that kind of ability, but
Right.
still keep it all the way 100 with you. You know what I'm saying?
Come
So
on.
that's my
Exactly.
sister, man. I love her, man. And anything
Oh.
she deserved her flowers while she's here.
Come
You know
on.
what I'm saying? She deserved
Preach.
everything
Yeah.
that I mean, for as I'm concerned, she needs her star on the walk of fame. She needs everything. She
Yeah.
needs everything that everybody else got.
Come on. Come on. You better
If she ain't
preach.
got it, you know what I'm saying? If she ain't got it, I don't know who else deserves it.
You better preach. And that's why, Mr. Mechalie, I had to honor you too, because I mean, for what you did for so much. I mean, this album was so successful. How did you feel when this album became so successful? Like, how did you feel when the reaction with people? Like I said, I remember, like I told you on 160 Park when I was growing up, I Love You was number one for a lot of days. So
Hmm.
you really made an impact on, a lot of stuff. But how did you feel when this album became successful?
Um, I really felt like, what I'm saying, I
Mm-hmm.
had accomplished some things that I wanted to,
Yeah.
it felt good to hear the whole world know that's all I really wanted out of it. If people if me there's something that I could write to make the whole world recite. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Word
saying?
of the day.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, something that I can write to make the whole world recite. And after that happened, you know what I'm saying? No matter what came from after that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the money or whatever, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? The business, that's gonna always be up and down in fair weather. But
Mm-hmm.
the music, I look today, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about it right now, and
20 years
I'm
later.
talking to you, and that's what means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? That means more
Oh.
than money. You know what I'm saying?
Come
So
on.
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
and that's why, I have to give you so much respect because you've done so much for R&B in general. And you broke way in pop as well, working with J-Lo on her album and stuff like that. But I just feel like people like you need to be recognized for, your penmanship and not even that, working with people like Faith Evans. You know what I'm saying? Because you've done
Hmm.
so much. And Gladys Knight, I mean, you work with
Hmm.
some icons, the Temptations and
Hmm.
everybody in general.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, is what I've learned from you and everything that you've done is you really, really are a pioneer for a lot of songwriters to make ballads, and that's
Right.
just God's honest truth.
Hmm.
Just honestly,
And we need to bring them ballads back, man. Them ballads save
right? My
lives,
friend Brian
man.
say, "Bring ballads back."
Bring ballads back. I'm gonna do a T-shirt. Bring ballads back,
You
man.
better, and you do a T-shirt. I'm about to support it and make them mug go
Everybody,
viral.
cause everybody too mad, man. Why is everybody
Yeah,
mad? Why is everybody
yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you know, I commend Bruno Mars and because when
Hmm.
leave the door open and
Yeah.
he could bring that he doing some great things with them
Oh
ballads,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, you know, what's wrong with loving? What's
yeah.
wrong with it?
Yeah, ain't nothing
You
wrong with
feel
that.
me?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So I wanted to ask you, Mr. Mechalie, since I have, talked my ear off about, how I love this Faithfully album to you, but I need to ask about you since you are the pioneer of all this, sir. What
Hmm.
is the key to making a hit record? And if you know that, what is your favorite hit from your catalog? Because you wrote for so many people, like I said, J Lo, The Temptations, Gladys Knight. Everybody, Latif. I mean, we can go on and on. So I wanted to ask you, what is the
Man, you
key
be
to making
saying
a hit record?
Latif, I'd be like, dang, you really digging deep. That's my man too. Shout out to Latif in Philly.
Yes.
Ryan Leslie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't even get man.
Man, I,
Mm-mm-mm.
I remember them boys when they was real young, man. Them boys,
Yeah.
man, Hawk Islam, who discovered
Yeah.
Drew Hill and Prophet Jones and Latif and all of them. I was A&R for his company. It was called University Records.
Mm-hmm.
And he bought Latif and Ryan Leslie to Chicago at
Yeah.
CLC Studios. I
Yeah.
worked with them. Them little kids was real talented back then. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
you know, the first thing I did, I put him on some real R&B.
Did
I made him
you?
re, I made him redo because El DeBarge is my favorite of all time. I made him
What?
do
Come on.
I made him do Love Me in a Special Way over again. I don't know why I ain't keep it for the album, but you know what I'm saying? That's the first thing I
Really?
made him do.
Mechalie,
Yeah, yeah,
really?
yeah.
You can't do that.
hmm
But I wanted to ask you, what is the key to making a hit record? Do you know that, sir? And if you do, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
Well, a key to a hit record for me
Mm-hmm.
is really because people don't do it no more. Is really like it starts with the lyrics first. It don't even start with the music first. It starts with what you
Mm.
feel in your heart. You know what I'm saying? So I could take a song. You know, like people put too much, like, you know, and I gotta address this, man, because you know what I'm saying, a lot of things that I
Come on,
went through
speak
as a
it.
young, you know what I'm saying, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I feel like I'm Quincy Jones. I feel like I'm the guys from the past, you know what I'm saying? Because the, when the producer name came up, people was using producers as like, just because you came up with a beat or just because you digging in the crate. I could dig in the crates. That don't mean nothing. It's where you come. So my thing was, you know, I could take a song that I've had in my head, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I can get with a keyboard player,
Mm-hmm.
I can get with a, you know, and build music around the lyric, you
Wow.
know. But a lot of people didn't like me for that, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, I can be for real with you, and you know, it's over with now. But a lot of people didn't want me to have that title as a producer
Wow,
because
that's stupid.
because I'm just being honest with you. Because
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, at some point everybody started taking that title because they wanted to produce records
Yeah.
and they lost the development side of things. So you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
when you come with a lyric,
Mm-hmm.
you can build a because you can have 1,000 tracks in your bag, but what are you saying over it? Even from rap and R&B, but you can think you could, you know, like I'll give you an example. If
Mm-hmm.
you listen to a Whitney Houston record, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a hit. I mean, and y'all can produce, y'all can take it, you know, and mix it if you want to. But I can think like this. I could take that. It took some time for me to see, you know, that part right there.
Mm-hmm.
You could take that one line, chop that up, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and put some dope lyrics on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Put some dope lyrics on top of that, hip hop or R&B, chop the beat up, and it could be a hit record. It's the
Mm.
feeling. It's the feeling. Like when a producer is producing, or if it's a hip hop producer that sample a lot, all they doing is taking feeling from something. It's all about feeling. You know what I'm saying?
I get
So
it now.
I start with a feeling of what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If it don't have a feel to what it is, you know what I'm saying, then you're just doing it for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, you
Right.
know, that's how I would always start my songs off. You know what I'm saying? I would take the lyric first, and I'll get with, you know, any producer, any keyboard player, anybody, and I would start from the ground up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
dope.
Or if somebody come with a dope beat, pretty much the beat had to have something or a sample, or like when you hear that through the wire. You know what I'm saying? This is not to take away from Kanye. It's not to take away from him. But man, I mean, when Shaka Khan sang that song, I didn't know no Kanye. I
Oh.
was a kid. I was
Yep.
young. But that
Yep.
feeling and the way he sampled that record and what he
Yeah.
put over it makes him a genius because he
Mm.
can hear the feeling of a record.
Yeah.
When you can understand feel, then that's when you know what I'm saying? That's when you
Right.
understood. So when he sampled that record, I gladly risk it all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then when he's saying on top of that, and then he could chop it up. That's genius, and that's me
Oh.
too.
Right.
That's the recipe.
Right. Man, that's dope. So if you had to name a favorite hit from your catalog, do you have one that's your favorite hit?
Now, man, I got hits that I don't that I have never that never surfaced before.
Dang,
I
I
got
hate
favorite
that.
songs that I've never got a chance to. I I had a hit album myself. I have things
Mm,
that I've never put out ever. That's
man.
still dope. You know what I'm saying? But if I would have to say one of my favorite records that um man, it's so many records. I mean, there's some records that's not singles, that's album fillers on Faith and
Mm,
Mary's album that I like. You know what I'm saying?
So them album cuts. You going deep in them album cuts.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I love you was one of my. I love you. I love you.
That's my favorite.
That's one of my biggest songs. But you know what I'm saying? It's not the biggest song I've ever wrote that
True.
people's ever
That's very
heard.
true. That's very
You know
true.
what I'm saying? And people start marginalizing, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, the business just like that. Like I'm telling you right now,
Hmm.
the business side of things stops a lot of things from
Yeah.
happening. You know what I
Ugh, I
mean?
hate that. Yeah.
You feel me? You know what I'm
I
saying?
hate that.
But guess what? It ain't over. It's all
Come
good.
on. Because you got
It's all
control and
good.
you got the power.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Look.
So, dude.
Well, I love that. Like I told you, I Love You is one of my favorite, like, Faith Ever records. Like I said, when I heard that when I was 12 years old and I got home from school in Washington Park, I said, what is this? And then when she sings it live, like back in the day, I was like, this is beautiful. I don't know what it is about this song and what it is about the melody to be, but the lyrics that you did for her, I mean, the bridge. I mean, the bridge, I love you, I want you, I need you. I mean, I was like, this is what it means to
On
be the
what you said?
love.
You
I
said the
love
bridge
you.
on.
The
Oh
bridge.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
bridge.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm a bridge person. I love bridges. So
Oh
bridges
yeah, oh
make a
yeah,
song to me.
oh yeah.
So you did that for her. And that's why I said I Love You to me is one of my favorite. It's like my number one favorite Faith Evans record. I love it with
Oh
all my heart.
man,
I mean, it meant the world to me when I was 12. So for you
that's
to do that
dope.
for her, I
Mm.
was really thankful and blessed. But not even that, I remember that song 20 years ago and it meant the world to me. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for
I appreciate you,
that.
man, and it's a pleasure to what I'm
Yeah.
saying to hear that because you know what I'm saying a lot of people again
Mm-hmm.
we got to bring them ballads back, man.
Come on, you gotta look. They saying bring back bridges. Look,
We got to bring back bridges. We got to bring back ballads. You know what I'm saying? You
we
can't have a ballad
do.
without a bridge. You know what I'm saying? That's why,
Speaking,
you know what I'm saying? And I got to give a shout out to Babyface too, man. That was one
come
of my early
on,
inspirations too, man. We got to, man.
dope.
These are the people we got to, you know what I'm saying, honor, man.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of babies was made off them records, man.
very.
You know what I'm saying?
So I wanted to
Mhm.
ask you, Mr. Mechalie, what current projects are you working on at the moment? Since now we are in the new era of digital music now. So what are you working on?
Man, believe it or not, man, you know what I'm saying? I've made a transition into the film business, you know what I'm saying?
What? Dope.
Yeah. But
Congratulations, man.
I got something special for you though. And I want you to
Oh,
keep I want you to keep your ears peeled.
oh, you know I am. Look,
I got
my
I
hands
got I'm
too
working
excited.
on I got a movie called Chicken Bone Trail. I'm working with Cootie
Okay.
and Chike. Now Cootie and Chike is the guys that directed Kanye's first two videos.
What? Are you
And
serious?
they also got a film coming out called Genius about, I mean it's dope. I can't give it
Mm.
away,
Oh.
but it's based around, this company called Channel Zero and
Okay.
where in Chicago where all the celebrities would come to the city and Channel Zero would basically, put them, it's a time capsule movie.
Oh, so now I know
But
it sound
but
like some back in the future.
yeah, yeah, but at the same time, Kanye, it lands on Kanye and ends on Kanye. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
wow. Okay.
But these are some incredible directors.
Mm-hmm.
But they got a film of mine called Chicken Bone Trail,
Mm. Okay.
and Chicken Bone Trail is basically like like the Black Forrest Gump, but it's my journey in music.
Wow. So you having
You
a
know what I'm saying?
documentary type of thing?
That no, this is a series that's probably
Okay, a
going to be
series.
coming
Okay.
through Ebony. You know, so I'm kind of speaking
Okay.
a little prematurely, but then I do have a documentary too.
Oh
Like
yes, because you know I'm support you, so I want to see that
yeah,
documentary, but you know
yeah,
your story and know
I
your
do have
hits and know your legacy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I do have a documentary too that's coming out that's going to be dope.
Oh,
Um, And then we also have the first scripted show on WeTV. It's called
For real?
Stain. It's called
Oh,
Stain. It's
dope.
like Set It Off meets Power. Four girls that's drill rapping, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be featuring music in that. So I'm kind of
Oh,
making
that's
my way
dope.
into that, you know what I'm saying? So Chicken Bone Trail is gonna be a musical. I got a lot of great things going on, man, and you know, and I'm still gonna put out an album, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean,
Yeah, come back with your music.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be special. Not gonna be, you know, the typical thing that I'm, you know, so it's gonna be special.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? It's gonna be family and friends, you know what I'm saying? Where
Right.
I might have Faith, Carl, you
That'd
know
be
what I'm
dope.
saying? You know,
Oh, bad boy reunion.
all my friends, even people that wasn't even affiliated with Bad Boy, just
That's
friends. It
dope.
might be Raekwon. Like met a
Oh,
lot of great people on my journey, you know what I'm saying? So,
amen.
you know, me and one of my partners, we talking about doing this thing called Papa Soul, you know what I'm saying? Where we ain't doing nothing but soul music, you know what
Come
I'm saying?
on.
Like it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? You know, my guy Vernon Brown, you know what I'm saying, who I'm doing a TV show with, we got this thing called Papa Soul, where,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying, it's gonna, you know, and he's a producer that he's produced for a lot of people as well, you know what I'm saying?
hmm
So I got a lot of good things going on, man. I got a lot of good
mm.
things going on, man, you know.
Oh, and that's why I have to give you so much respect because your legacy means so much to me personally because I'm a person about, about lyrics, about songwriters, about, producers, everybody who has really made an impact in R&B music. You know what I'm saying? Because I always feel like R&B is the core to where a lot of music has come from then to now. You know what I'm saying? And the things you have done, Mechalie, it just means the world to me, growing up at the age I have, listening to Faithfully. It was just an awesome album. You know what I'm saying? Because we always know Faith as a ballad girl, but I feel like this was a very ballad love letter to R&B music, and that's why I really have to give you so much respect. So now, since we are, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What are you about to say?
No, no, I was just gonna say, well,
Uh huh.
you know, it takes people. It's
Mm-hmm.
special for me because it takes people like you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
this is, your platform is a beautiful platform because a lot of people don't get to, you know, express themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't
yeah,
get to say people, you know, don't get to talk about, you know, what they done been through personally and
yeah.
what music mean to them. And I think this is a wonderful platform that you're building. And whatever I can do to help build it even more, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I'm here for you. I really appreciate that.
Well, you the reason why Faith Evans followed me. So, like I said, I'm gonna give you all the
Hmm.
kudos in the world. So, like I
Yes,
said,
ma'am.
thank you for that. So, I want
Yeah.
to ask you, since we are celebrating this month, the last day of the month of November, since Faith Evans' album came out November 6th, the 20th anniversary of Faithfully, do you have what is one word you describe this beautiful timeless album?
Just a very melodic masterpiece. Very melodic masterpiece. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? You know, even with songs. I mean, it's like I say, you know, if you can listen to that album all the way through,
come on,
all the way through, and not even take it out. You know what I'm saying?
classic.
And just classic. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And you know, I got to shout out to Puff, man, for putting us all
yeah,
together, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes he don't, you know what I'm saying? Like this man don't never get his really, you know what I'm saying? He's so big, but then he don't get his just due for loving R&B. He's an
he's a
R&B
visionary.
head.
Mm-hmm.
He's an R&B head, man, and for him to, you know what I'm saying, get all of us together, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
knowing who to put in what place, and you know what I'm saying, and just, you know, shout out to him, man. You know what I'm saying? He really is the reason why all of these things are going on. You know what I'm saying? And why we can speak on these records like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
shout out to
And I
Puff, man.
shout out to him. And I definitely, for sure, for me, I feel like this album to me is very sultry. I call it sultry because it's
Hmm.
very, very beautiful, very, like you said, melodic. But it's not even just that. Even though it is one of those albums that you know for sure that reminds you of like an Anita Baker ass, very Ella Fitzgerald, very all that. It was very sultry to what Faith was doing in 2001, and that's why this album, to me, showing that Faith that was that Jersey girl. We know that church girl from Jersey, but not even that. she really made an impact with this album. And I'm just so happy that, I can't believe it's been 20 years, a long time, but not even that. I'm just happy that this album is getting the respect it deserves. And I really, really respect you so much, Mr. Jamison.
Okay, okay, okay. I appreciate it. I
No, no
appreciate
problem.
it. I
Look.
appreciate it. I
So I wanted to
appreciate it.
ask you another question. Did you have any advice for people that are wanting to get into this industry? Do you have any advice?
Um, well, I would just say embrace who you are. Embrace if you're gonna be like don't come into business, just looking for all these expectations and
Yeah.
thinking it's gonna be easy and thinking just you the 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 end of all be all. So you got to be
Mm-hmm.
humble. I
Yeah.
got in these places because I was humble. I humbled myself in front of greatness. You know what I'm saying? You got to bow down in front of greatness. You know what I'm saying? To know when to turn it on and turn it off. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then
Mm-hmm.
just embrace who you and just embrace it. If you're a songwriter, if you're an artist, then embrace it. Don't look for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just do it from your heart and it'll naturally happen for you anyway. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, that's my advice.
Oh, well, thank
Mm,
you. Well, like I said, I just thank you so much. And, I appreciate your legacy, Mechalie. Like, you just really, really, really are a R&B game changer. And I'm so happy to give you your flowers on my platform because you deserve all that and then some. But not only that, you are really, really a pioneer of, like I said, a ballad. So I thank you so much. And like I said, do you have any last words before we do end today's live on the celebration of the 20th anniversary of Faith Evans' album?
bring balance back. Bring balance back. Bring real R&B back, man.
Come
Everybody
on.
stop being so mad. Stop being
Yeah.
so angry. Stop
Yeah.
walking around with, what I'm saying, the negative energy, and let
Mm-hmm.
positive energy take your soul to another place, because
Oh yeah.
we need our creators, man. We need
Yeah.
these young kids, what I'm saying? We need to inspire these young kids, man. Y'all stop sitting in front of these, what I'm saying, in front of these these phones and trying
Yeah.
to be
I
seen and
agree.
heard and not make a impact on these younger kids, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Don't be afraid to love nobody, man. Stop trying to be so hard. Everybody got to be so hard. Everybody ain't rich.
Come on.
Everybody don't have a Bentley. Everybody don't have a Hellcat. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
don't got no whatever it is. Everybody ain't rocking Rolexes. It's not. It's fake. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Be real. This is why these music. That's why this music turned out the way it turned out. See,
Mm.
every time you hear something nowadays, it's gone because it's not.
Mm.
It don't have no substance because
Nope.
everybody's faking. Everybody's faking and taking, faking and taking.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Preach, because I can't stand it.
Love yourself,
Mm.
love what you do, whether if you don't stop trying to keep up with what everybody else doing and what
Yeah.
everybody else got in, the Instagram posts and all of this, man. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got nothing, if you can write and sing, if you ain't got nothing, you got God and you got a vocal.
Come
Sing and be
on.
happy. That's it.
Ooh, you have dropped so many gems. Like, oh my God. Like, I always, man, when I say Mechalie, like, man, I got some really great interviews. Like, these people, man, my songwriters, y'all be killing it. But you know what I've learned from so much from you is you really, really are a man of real R&B music. And, that comes from the soul. And I respect you so much. And I want to thank you so much for being on my platform. And God bless you. And
Man,
I'm so happy to give you your
anytime.
flowers.
Anytime. This ain't my last time,
You
man.
better
You know
not
what
be
I'm
your
saying?
last. Look, it better not be your last.
Anytime.
We have
We
another
got some,
anniversary. Look,
yeah,
I'm
we got
coming.
some more. We got some more things coming down the right. And
Oh,
I'm gonna make sure I reach out to, Keith and put him in tune and put him in tune with you. You gotta
Lord.
interview him. He don't like interviews, but I'm saying he gonna do it
You know
himself.
I'm gonna cry if because I'm gonna tell him because I
Mhm.
told Kipper a couple months ago he's the reason why I know Brandy. If I tell Keith, he's gonna be like, "Are you serious?" I'm like 5 years
Mhm.
old. Like that's how I knew who Brandy was at 5. So they
Mhm.
really are the reason why I know who this girl is. So if you do that,
Right.
I'm probably gonna cry.
It's all good, man. And once again,
Oh.
man, I appreciate you for, building this platform.
Mm.
It's well needed because everybody needs to have a platform and everybody needs to be, celebrated. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Faith definitely is one of
Oh
the
yeah.
pioneers of this game. She don't get to me. She don't get her.
She
You
doesn't.
know, she don't get her just due the way she should. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because you know what I'm saying she is one of the best vocalists.
Yes, she
You
is.
know that's the in our decade that's been she deserved her walk. She deserved her walk on a walk on fame. You know, she
She
deserved her walk of
does.
fame. You know what I mean? So, I thank you for even reaching out
Mhm.
and include me in this, man. And we will reconvene.
We
Same
will.
battle
We would
spot.
definitely reconvene. And like I said, make sure you definitely, like I told you, follow my friends. They were on the live today. My friend Jr. He's the R&B representatives, one half of that, and one of my other friends, Brian, definitely for sure. I'm gonna hit you up, follow him. Can We Talk Music? They do all R&B, hip hop. I mean, definitely for sure. I gotta get you on my people. They really are dope, and
Oh,
I want you.
like this right here.
Yes, they do it. Well, they do. They have their own little stuff, podcasts and all that. But we all do
Okay.
this stuff. We all do the same thing, and I want to make
I'm here
sure.
to support. I'm here to support, man. This is important to me. This is what
Come on.
Come on, man. I'm 100% with this movement right
Oh,
here.
okay, because we got a movement, we got a R&B soul movement. Like I said, I'm gonna make sure that you get with them because these are people that really, really do the same thing I do, Mr. Mechalie. But not even that, we want to make sure that people like you are always recognized and always are getting your flowers, but always doing what you got to do in the industry to make sure that your legacy is always here and forever and a day. So thank you.
Thank you as well.
Oh, thank you so
All
much,
right.
guys. So thank you, Mr. Jamison, for joining me on this live, y'all. So y'all, next Friday, I got a huge announcement, but I've already definitely for sure already dropped the flyer, y'all. I am getting ready to do my last R&B battle of 2021. And this battle is going to be one of the biggest battles I think I've had. And my friend JR, who's on the live right now, we are going to be doing this battle together. We are doing a male R&B battle. We are doing John B versus
Mm,
Donnell Jones. So we're going to
mm.
see, y'all, who is going to win this R&B battle, but we're going to also make sure they are celebrated, make sure they are respected, because no matter what has happened, these two guys have really created and changed the game for all of us. So y'all, make sure y'all
You
tune
know
in.
I worked with John B before,
You
right?
did every time. I know that song every
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
2000 on the strong every day. You know I know that. You know I had to. You know I know the final notes. You know I know that. So you don't even know if
Yeah.
I'm gonna play your song, sir. So just in case if we're gonna play it on these 20 hits, I got you. Okay.
It's all
So
good, baby. Appreciate you.
no, trust. I made sure I found everything who you was. But not even just
Mm-hmm.
that, y'all. Not even just that, y'all. Make sure next Friday, y'all tune in December 10th. We're going to live. We're going to make sure we're going to celebrate these two R&B icons in our battle to make sure they are respecting everything they've done. So thank you, Ms. Mechalie. We are done with our beautiful interview with the
Thank you.
one, the only, the R&B legend, Mr. Mechalie Jamison. God bless you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much
Thank you.
from the
Thank
bottom
you.
of my heart. You send
Thank
your love
you.
for me, for you and your family. And if you ever do tell C Faith Evans till I say hello, I love her and she will forever have flowers on my platform.
For sure. Most definitely. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. No problem.
Okay.
God bless you
Bye.
from the bottom of my heart.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.